Alright guys, the Iceman here on the Iceman's Return Wrestling YouTube channel. I want to first give a shout out to Wrestling Machine CH. I'll have a link in the description box below. Check him out. He's a new YouTuber. He's trying to, push his channel along. Give him a chance. Take a look at it. And if you like, subscribe. Alrighty. Alright. I had a couple topics I was going to talk about tonight, but I decided to talk about this one instead, and I'll save the other one for tomorrow. We're talking about screw jobs in wrestling history, and we all know about the famous 1997 screw job at Montreal, the Survivor Series, where Shawn Michaels ended up defeating Bret the Hitman Hart for the World Wrestling Heavyweight title. But, if you go back a little bit in time, there was really another screw job, and it wasn't so much the type of screw job that Bret Hart's was. It was like a planned screw job, but it wasn't agreed by both participants before the match. Basically, Bob Backlund, who was WWF champion for like 6+ years, Vince McMahon taking over from his dad, wanted to change the look of the WWF champion, and he basically wanted Bob Backlund to turn heel and to face Hulk Hogan and lose to Hulk Hogan and turn over the WWF belt. And Bob Backlund refused to do so. He said he wasn't going to turn heel because he had a lot of kids that were his fans. They looked up to him, and he didn't want to disappoint all his fans. So the day after Christmas, December 26, 1983, Bob Backlund was in a match at Madison Square Garden against the Iron Sheik. And what happened was the Iron Sheik had Backlund in the camel clutch hold. Backlund refused to tap out or give up. Arnold Skaaland, his manager then at the time, threw in the towel. Backlund lost the title to the Iron Sheik, who then in turn the following month lost to Hulk Hogan, and everybody knows what happened thereon after that. Hulk Hogan became the biggest name in the WWF. There was Hulkamania, and from Hulkamania became WrestleMania, and thus we have wrestling as it is today in the WWE. So to me, that was one of the biggest screw jobs in wrestling history, because Backlund was a champion for a very long time, and once Vince took over ownership from his dad, he decided to change things up. And I can understand that. I mean, back in those days, a champion held the belts for a long, long period of time. As we all know, if you are a big wrestling fan and you go back into those days, we know that Bruno Sammartino had the belt for 8+ years. So it was not uncommon for anyone to hold the belt for a very long time. But in that day, Bob Backlund was a very popular wrestler, very popular amongst the kids. He was the howdy doody look type. But Vince thought, now that he took over ownership, he wanted to make some changes. And that's what usually happens when somebody else buys out a wrestling company. They want to come up with their own ideas, and they don't want to just keep going with what the previous ownership did, even though it was doing okay. And I would have to say this, the WWF, or the WWF in those days, it was a territorial thing. And being in the East Coast, where I lived, that's all we got to see. We never got to see wrestling from any other parts of the country. But there were time and time again where we saw Bob Backlund go up against the likes of Harley Race on a couple different occasions. We also saw Backlund go up against Ric Flair at one point, the NWA World Champion at that time, and also the AWA World Champion Nick Bockwinkel. So we had all these different promotions, and it was very rare to see a territorial champion wrestle another territorial champion. Uh, but with that being said, once Vince McMahon took over from his dad, he had ideas, and becoming a new owner, that's what you want to do. You want to have some new, fresh ideas to try and improve the business. And look what he did. I mean, it was a screw job to Bob Backlund. It was one of the biggest screw jobs in WWF history, along with Bret the Hitman Hart. But this screw job was definitely for business. And as you can see now, you know how it turned out. Vince McMahon, you know, sort of made Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was previously with Freddie Blassie. He was a huge heel, um, but once Vince took him under his wing and became and made him the WWF champion, things just changed all the way around for everybody in the WWF. Hogan became a family name. Um, Hulkamania arrived, and then a couple years later, after Hulk Hogan became champion, we saw the very first WrestleMania in 1985. And of course, Hulk Hogan showcased that WrestleMania. So, again, I think if it wasn't for this, to me, one of the biggest screw jobs in professional wrestling history, we wouldn't see the product we see today in the WWE. So, this is one of those screw jobs that was better for business, and it definitely was better for business. So, um, in fact, a lot of people that didn't know that, this is something good in wrestling history to really know that, you know, this was one of the first major decisions made by young Vince McMahon. And, being one of his first major decisions, this was one of the biggest decisions he ever did make, because we have the WWE as we know it today, a $1 million business. And I don't think without that change on that given day, December 26th, 1983, I don't think the WWE would be like it is today. So those are my thoughts and opinions on that. I hope you enjoyed the video. You got any comments, please comment below. Give me your insights. Give me your thoughts. Uh, but again, a shout out to Wrestling Machine CH. The link is in the description box below. Check him out. Give him a chance. Give him a shot. See y'all guys again later. Peace out, everybody. I have a topic for tomorrow that I wanted to do tonight, but I decided to do this instead. So we'll see you soon. Have a great night.